Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So according to the Italian newspaper Corriere dello Sport, Inter Milan won Donny van de Beek on loan this January and are considering a swap deal involving Christian Eriksen. Now the article is fantasy, that's what it's being described as. Now, Donny van de Beek, he seldom plays in the Premier League. I think he's made around 10 appearances in the Premier League this season, but he's only started 2 games in the league. He's obviously played in the cup games as well. We got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth £40 million. That was last summer. We paid 35 million up front and there was 5 million in add-ons. Now he can play in like 3 different roles. You can put him as a box-to-box midfielder. That was his predominant position when he was at Ajax. You can put him out wide and you can also put him in that number 10. So will 2021 be the chance of Donny van de Beek playing more games? Now, we have been linked with Christian Eriksen. I'm very, very sceptical that he will come to Manchester United. He hasn't been good at Inter Milan. He's failed to replicate what he did at Tottenham. Christian Eriksen endured a good 7 and a half years with Tottenham. He's been at Inter Milan now for like a year. Inter Milan just paid £17 million for him. He's got a contract with Inter Milan until 2024. We was in for Christian Eriksen when he was at Ajax. So that's the breaking news on that. Now I want to delve into some news on Jadon Sancho. So Manchester United believe they can sign Jadon Sancho for less than £100 million this year. Last summer, Dortmund's valuation was £108 million. We was not willing to meet that valuation. But he did say a few times during the summer that the personal terms had been agreed and the agent fees had been agreed, but we couldn't come to an agreement on an actual fee. Dortmund said during the summer, don't forget that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline. Now, Fabrizio Romano's recently said that Sancho will leave Dortmund in the summer. I don't see him leaving in this January transfer window. He does mention that he prefers a move to Liverpool. Liverpool have recently been back in for him. Chelsea, I think, have reignited their interest. Sancho made an admission earlier on this season saying that it has been hard for him this season. He hasn't been as consistent this season as he has been in recent years with Dortmund. Earlier on in the season, Dortmund sacked Lucien Favre. This is his 4th season, I think, with Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. He endured a couple of years at Man City, but the main explanation he left Manchester City is because he didn't get assured any first team opportunities. Before he was at City, he was at Watford. He was at Watford from the age of 7 to the age of 14. And he has got a contract with Dortmund, is it till 2022 or 2023? But I thought we'd have signed him like I mentioned last summer, because it mentioned that the personal terms and the agent fees had been agreed. It even mentioned that a contract had been agreed, but we couldn't come to an agreement on an actual fee. Sancho said a few times that I did want to come to Man United, and don't forget he's got a very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. Now, obviously, you already know the news on Max Aarons from Norwich. The Daily Mail and the Express recently said that Man United are interested in Max Aarons. He's a right back who plays for Norwich. Tottenham and Barcelona have been interested in him before. Arsenal have been in for him a few times. Now, it's said that Max Aarons could be available for around £20 million, but we may have to wait until the summer. I think at one point they valued him at around £30 million. Aarons has been in Norwich's senior squad now for just over a couple of years. Broke into their senior squad in 2018. I think he's played around 99 games for Norwich. Back in July 2019, he signed a new contract with them, so he's under contract with Norwich until 2024. Before he was at Norwich, he was at Luton. That's where he began his career. Do you think Man United need a right back though? We've obviously got Wan-Bissaka. He's our first choice right back. But obviously we've got concerns about Wan-Bissaka's lack of attacking intent and his distribution. Obviously you've got Fosu-Mensah. That's another option at right back. He's just recently rejected a 3.5-year contract. You've got Brandon Williams that can also play as a right back, and even Tuanzebe can play at right back, but I don't think that's his predominant position. We've also been looking at Kieran Trippier from Atletico Madrid, but he's banned until March. You know the news on Moises Caicedo from Independiente del Valle. Now, it obviously mentioned last year that a deal has been agreed for Moises Caicedo. And it said last year he was undergoing his medical at Man United, and he said he's set to sign a 5-year contract with the club, and we're going to get him in a deal worth 4.5 million with add-ons included. He's already revealed that his favourite club is Manchester United. There was narratives coming out though towards the end of last year saying that, Chelsea were looking to hijack our move, and they were in talks. He mentioned Brighton and Newcastle were interested in him. He's 19 years old, is Caicedo, and he is a holding midfielder. Made his debut for Independiente del Valle around 15 months ago now. I think he's played for Ecuador around 4 times. You already know the news on David Alaba. He's one of our transfer targets. So there is a lot of players on our agenda. This January transfer window is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as Manchester United manager. So far at the club, Ole has spent just over £200 million. In the summer of 2019, he recommended Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January last year, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagala in on loan. And in the summer transfer window last year, he brought Donny van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo Traore. The board are ready to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this January transfer window. Woodward's come out several times to support Solskjaer, despite us having a poor start to the season and despite us getting knocked out of the Champions League. Woodward did say last year that he will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. Now, there was obviously a few things coming out saying that, we may not be busy in the January transfer window, and Solskjaer did say at one point last year that he doesn't expect a busy January transfer window, but I'm hopeful we can make at least one signing. But yeah, I hope he gets the backing that he deserves, because in the summer transfer window last year, he wasn't backed enough by the board, and Solskjaer showed his frustration towards the board quite a few times. The board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been, and we've also overpaid for players as well, and none of the managers have been backed enough since Ferguson left. So Moyes wasn't backed enough, Van Gaal wasn't backed enough, Mourinho wasn't backed enough, and before Solskjaer wasn't backed enough. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe now. Ed Woodward did say he's confident of success under Ole, so he believes we are closer to getting silverware. We're also going to focus on the outgoings this year as well as the incomings, because there is still deadwood at the football club that we need to get rid of. Now, I think we need to offload Jesse Lingard, because Jesse Lingard doesn't regularly get in the team now. He's lost his place in the team. And don't forget, when he was playing, there was a period where he didn't score one goal or get one assist in the Premier League for over a year. And it did say last year that Lingard's agent was talking with Real Sociedad. Celtic, Rangers were in for him. Aston Villa have also expressed an interest. By the way, we have triggered that 1 year extension on his contract, so Lingard's under contract now with Man United until the summer of 2022. And Lingard has been absent quite a few times. Solskjaer explained why, because obviously he's been in contact with someone with COVID. Obviously at one point he was out with injury, and at one point he had personal issues. I think we need to offload Phil Jones. Phil Jones has been very, very inconsistent since he came to Man United, and I think this is Phil Jones' 10th season now at the club. He has been with us since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. I think he might be back from injury now, because it said he was going to be back in January. We got Phil Jones from Blackburn. I think we also need to offload Marcus Rojo, because he's never really established himself as a first team regular since he came in. You know, Rojo's been at the club since 2014. We got him from Sporting Lisbon for just over £16 million. He's sustained a few injuries at Man United, is Rojo. Don't forget, last season we loaned him out to Estudiantes. Tim Fosu-Mensah could go, like I mentioned. Marcel and Hertha are interested in him. They're willing to pay a small fee for him. Sergio Romero, I think he needs to leave, because obviously now he's our third choice goalkeeper. You know, he doesn't play, does he? When he has played, most of his games have come in the cup games, Romero's enjoyed a good 5 years or so at Man United. Got him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015, Sergio Romero. I'm expecting Odin Ighalo to leave the club as his loan now expired. We brought Odin Ighalo in January last year. The main explanation we brought him in, though, was to get a cover up for Rashford, because at the time we brought Ighalo in, Rashford was out with that back injury. Ighalo seldom plays now, but to his credit, he was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup last season. You know, there's been rumours of Daniel James going out on loan. Reportedly West Brom want him on loan. You know, Leeds United have been interested in getting him. He's lost his place in our team, but Daniel James did play against Leicester, and he also played against Leeds, and he put a very, very good performance out against Leeds. We got Daniel James back in June 2019, got him in a deal worth £18 million. In reality, though, Leeds should have got him. Was it back in January 2019, if I'm right? Everything was agreed, but obviously Swansea pulled out of the deal right at the final hurdle. There has been obviously rumours of Brandon Williams going out on loan. You know, Williams seldom plays now, and he is our third choice left back, Brandon Williams. following the arrival of Alex Telles. Isn't there? Yeah, I think it would be beneficial if we put Brandon Williams out on loan, because obviously he would gain more experience. Williams played a lot of games last season though, didn't he? That's because obviously Luke Shaw had a couple of periods out with injury. Was it just before the start of this season Williams signed a 4-year contract on Man United, and at the start of this season we're giving that number 33 shirt? Matic could leave this year. I've got reservations about Matic because he's always been a slow player, and obviously now he is aging up. Matic has been at the club now for over 3 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. He signed a 3-year contract, didn't he, before the start of this season. Could we sell Juan Mata this year? Juan Mata has played games this season, and in some of the games he has been impressive. My only concern about Juan Mata is that, he's aging up now, he's 33, 34, and he has lost that yard of pace. Don't forget, earlier on in the season, he rejected an $18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. It was an unnamed club there. But he's enjoyed a good 6 years or so at Man United. Got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. He scored like 50 goals for the football club in all competitions. I think he's made over 200 appearances for us in all competitions. Paul Pogba could leave the football club this year. I'm very, very sceptical that he will leave in this January transfer window. But there's a good chance he could leave in the summer. Now, he's been heavily linked with a return to Juventus. Don't forget, Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. And it says that Juventus prefer a swap deal if they are to get him in this January transfer window. And it did say last year that Juventus had offered us Adrian Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey in exchange for Paul Pogba. It said as well that they'd offered us Paul Dybala and Federico Bernardeschi. And it says Juventus want to get him in a cut price deal. They want to get him for like £50 million. But we did say, didn't we, that we will let Paul Pogba go, but we won't let him go on the cheap, and we want a world-class player in exchange. Now, Real Madrid were relentlessly linked with him before. At one point Paul Pogba was talking a lot about Real Madrid. And he did say he wanted to leave Man United because he was seeking for a new challenge. PSG, Barcelona and Milan have been in for him before. So he has had a long-running transfer saga. Don't forget, Solskjaer said last year that we can convince Paul Pogba to stay at the club if the club win trophies. Earlier on in the season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract on Man United until June 2022. But as far as I'm aware at the moment, there has been no talks over getting him a long-term contract at the club. As it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. And this is his 5th season at Manchester United since he rejoined. He's made over 100 appearances for the club in all competitions. He's won 3 trophies so far. That was the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. Don't forget, we had Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. And he enjoyed a difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, he told 2 Sport last year that Paul Pogba's career at Manchester United is over, and he said he's unhappy and he has to leave. And Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig. And then Mini Oriola made a fresh statement saying that it's unlikely leaving this January transfer window, but he can leave in the summer. But then obviously Paul Pogba reacted to Mini Oriola's comments for the first time. And, he basically came out and said that, he's always fought for Man United. And he will always fight for his teammates and the fans. And he did say that, he's 1000% involved in Man United's project. To Paul Pogba's credit, though, he's done well since he's come back from that ankle injury. By the way, Ollie did confirm that ankle injury was totally comparison to the one that he had last season. Because he was out for the vast majority of last season. So, there you go. But we have got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot of credit. Obviously, he's got us to second in the Premier League. If we do beat Aston Villa tonight, we will be level on points with Liverpool. So joint top, plus we've got a game in hand. You've also got to give Solskjaer a lot of credit because he has got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. There's 4 trophies we can pursue this season, and that is the EFL Cup, the FA Cup, the Europa League and the Premier League. You've got to give him a lot of credit for what he did last season, his first full season, because he got us qualification for the Champions League, got us third. That's the second highest we've finished since the Ferguson era, and he got us to 3 semi-finals. We have seen a lot of players depart the club since he got recommended in. And, we've enjoyed good periods under Ole, and we're enjoying a good period now because we are unbeaten in our last 9 league games. So if we beat Villa tonight, we will extend our unbeaten run in the league to 10. And don't forget, we went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season. I think we was, 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. So you've got to give him credit. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not under pressure now as Manchester United manager. He has been under pressure a few times since he got appointed in. And he has been very close to getting sacked a few times. You can say he was lucky not to be sacked after the 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. He was lucky not to be sacked after getting knocked out of the Champions League. He was lucky not to be sacked at the first part of last season. But obviously our board have softened their stance on Ole because obviously they do know that he is a club legend. But if it had been any other manager, then maybe he wouldn't have been at Manchester United now. You know what I mean? I don't know if he is the long-term manager for Manchester United. Obviously, time's going to tell. His priority is leading the club to long-term success. Now, Solskjaer did say after our 1-0 win against Wolves that, we're not in the title races yet, but that's just Ollie playing mind games. But he said if we are challenging at the top come March, he believes the title race is on. If we do win the Premier League, it will be our first Premier League title since 2013 and it will be our 21st title overall. No one thought in a million years that we'd have been second at the beginning of 2021 with how poor we started the season. We've been very, very good away from home. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League this season. It was a shame that we didn't beat Leicester on Boxing Day last year because if we had beaten them, that would have been 11 away wins in a row in the Premier League. If we win the title this season, that'll be absolutely remarkable. But if we're in a trophy and it's not the league and we finish in the top 4, the top 3, I think that would represent a very good season for Man United, and then that would give us something to build on. You know, Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager now for just over 2 years. We appointed him in December 2018, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. You can say the club made a mistake by giving him the job so early, but we'll give him the job permanently, reflect on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. I think Solskjaer is more than halfway through now his 3-year deal at the club. Like I've said to you time and time again, the thing that concerns me about Ole is his decision making, because in a lot of his games at Man United he has made mistakes, and that's obviously cost us. Obviously he hasn't really got that proven pedigree as a manager. Well, before he came into Man United, didn't really have any managerial experience, did he? Because he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but Molde are a big club. And before then, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think Solskjaer will still be Man United manager at the end of this season. You know, I think we could give him a 3rd season to see how things go. You know? But big game tonight against Aston Villa. Must-win game for Manchester United. It's the first game of 2021. As you all know, we've got a very, very good record against Aston Villa. They have not beaten us since 2009. That's just over 11 years ago now. Villa, though, have been in a good vein of form. I think they are unbeaten in their last 5 games. Villa, don't forget, have beaten Liverpool this season 7-2. They won at Leicester, they won at Wolves, they won at Arsenal 3-0. They recently drew with Chelsea 1-1. You know, the game at Old Trafford last season was 2-2, but we beat them at Villa Park 3-0. And I think Solskjaer's going to make changes from the 1-0 win against Wolves. Obviously, we know Edison Cavani's not going to be available for tonight, because obviously he's been given a 3-match ban and he's been fined £100,000 by the FA for the racist comment that he put on social media last year. Cavani's going to be a miss for us because he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. You know, Cavani's going to miss tonight's game. He's going to miss the City game in the EFL Cup semi-final. And he's also going to miss the game against Watford. So he will be back for Liverpool. If the Burnley game gets sorted out, obviously before Liverpool, then he will be available for the Burnley game. There has been talks about that Burnley game getting sorted out on the week beginning the 11th of January. Alex Telles is available for tonight's game. Solskjaer's confirmed that he's expected to play. He said it was just a tactical decision to replace Telles with Shaw in the game against Wolves. During the press conference, Solskjaer spoke about Aston Villa, a few times. He's aware that they've been a much better team this term, and he says they're brilliant, and he says, Dean Smith's done a fantastic job. He mentioned when they beat us in pre-season, which was before the start of this season, and he said they've got individual players that are strong, and defensively, one of the better teams in the league. He's also said that our players need to be aware of Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is definitely Aston Villa's best player. If we do beat Villa, it will be the 4th win at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. City will be a tough game in the Cup. We should be beating Watford in the FA Cup 3rd round, and we should be also beating Burnley. Liverpool is the big one though on the 17th of January, isn't it? But like I said to you, in the last 7.5, 8 years, we have been playing catch-up. You know, we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho. We spent over £1 billion in the last 7.5 years or 8 years. But like I said to you already, no one will replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy at Man United, and no one will last as long as he did. But we are getting back competitive under Ollie. Since Ferguson left, we haven't been the same team. Before Ferguson came into the equation, we weren't good either. So our success came under Sir Alex Ferguson. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.